Imagine this. It's a freezing winter night in 39 AD. Rome is silent under a blanket of frost, but every noble family is wide awake, hearts pounding, because tonight, someone's daughter will vanish. Picture yourself, just 14 years old, tucked into bed, believing the city outside your window is safe. Then you hear it, the heavy, relentless march of armored boots echoing closer, until they stop right outside your door. You were taught that a summons from the emperor is the highest honor. Nobody told you it arrives like a robbery in the dead of night. Nobody told you the Praetorian guards would stride into your home as if it already belongs to them. And nobody, absolutely nobody, warned you about the blood-red lantern they hang on your gate, the silent signal that marks you as the emperor's next prize. In moments, your mother will choke out your name like a prayer. Your father will force a smile that cracks his face in two. And you, sweet Flavia, will learn the terrifying truth every patrician family whispers in the dark. The Palatine doesn't ask for daughters, takes them. And if you think the nightmare starts here, wait until you see what's waiting inside the palace walls. This was the night Caligula's Garden of Venus opened its gates, a secret ritual so depraved that Rome scrubbed every trace of it from history. If hidden horrors of the ancient world grip you like nothing else, smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now, because we're diving straight into the darkness. Let's go. Our story begins with one girl, Flavia. Burn her name into your mind, because everything you're about to hear forged the monster who will soon destroy her life. Caligula didn't wake up one day and decide to become madness incarnate. He was sculpted slowly, deliberately into the creature that devoured an empire. Born the son of Germanicus, Rome's golden hero, little Gaius should have inherited glory, honor, unbreakable strength. Instead, he inherited poison. His childhood wasn't spent in peaceful villas. It was spent in brutal military camps, the air thick with sweat, iron, and blood. Legionaries adored the tiny boy in his miniature armor and nicknamed him Caligula, Little Boot, a loving joke that would one day rot into legend. But even then, something inside him twisted. The camps taught him his first brutal lesson. Power isn't given, it's seized. And once you have it, mercy is weakness. Then came the hammer blow, the sudden, suspicious death of his father. Overnight, Caligula became prey. He watched his mother and brothers exiled, starved, executed, all on the orders of Emperor Tiberius. And then, Capri, the island retreat where Tiberius didn't retire, he festered. For 6 suffocating years, teenage Caligula lived beside the man who murdered his family. He learned the second, darker rule. To survive, you smile at the monster you want to kill. He swallowed rage, hid every tear, and bowed, while something cold and hungry grew inside him. When Tiberius finally died in 37 AD and 24-year-old Caligula was hailed as emperor, Rome exploded with joy. The son of Germanicus would heal the empire. He freed prisoners, burned spy records, slashed taxes, threw endless games and feasts. The city believed it was saved, but that light was only the calm before the storm. Near the end of his first year, a near-fatal illness struck. When Caligula rose from that bed, something essential stayed behind. The boy who once hid his hatred no longer had to hide anything. Standing atop the Palatine, gazing at a city that worshipped him as a god, he understood the final truth. At absolute power's peak, there are no gods above you, only toys below. Generosity turned to mania, justice rotted into cruelty, and a sick idea took root. Noble women weren't people, they were playthings. That idea became the Garden of Venus. It started quietly. Imperial heralds arrived at elite homes with purple-sealed scrolls. The order was simple. Send your most beautiful, most pure daughter to the palace. Refusal meant treason. Obedience meant handing your child to a predator wearing a crown. The girls entered a wing of the palace draped in pink marble, silk, and perfume, a fake paradise. They thought they'd been chosen for sacred duty. They were wrong. Jewels became chains. Transparent silks became humiliation. Real names were stripped away and replaced with numbers or mocking nicknames whispered by the emperor himself. Worst of all was the waiting, endless, soul-crushing anticipation. They never knew when the summons would come. Every footstep in the hall could be the one that ended their world. By the time Caligula touched them, the damage was already done. They were paraded at banquets like living trophies while their own fathers and fiancés sat forced to smile, terrified to show disgust. Caligula didn't just take bodies. He choreographed terror. One night brutality, the next fake tenderness and gifts, emotional whiplash designed to break minds. He turned the girls against each other, ranking them, rewarding some, punishing others until solidarity died. When he grew bored, he sold them secretly to senators and generals, binding the elite in shared guilt. Families were ordered to throw celebratory feasts for their honored daughters. Parents visited under guard, forced to watch painted, perfumed shells of their children pretend everything was fine or die. Suicides began, hidden, hushed up, but unstoppable. Shards of vases, silk nooses, leaps from balconies, death became the only freedom left. Flavia, once bright and hopeful, became a ghost drifting through corridors, too broken to live, too terrified to die. Caligula's final mistake? He started humiliating the men who carried swords. He mocked praetorian officers, degraded senators, stripped dignity from the very people who protected him. One of them, Cassius Chaerea, a loyal veteran of Germanicus, snapped. On January 24, 41 AD, during the Palatine Games, Caligula walked into a narrow underground passage. Chaerea and the conspirators were waiting. No speeches, just steel. Over 30 stab wounds. The self-proclaimed god died choking on his own blood, whimpering like the mortal he always was. But for the girls locked in the Garden of Venus, salvation didn't come. Caligula's Germanic bodyguards went berserk, slaughtering anyone in reach. The palace became a bloodbath. When the chaos ended, Claudius, the stuttering, limping uncle, was dragged from hiding and made emperor. His first act? Cover it all up. Survivors were sent home draped in gold and massive dowries, bribes to buy silence. No trials, no justice, just a command, forget. The girls returned, but not really. Chastity destroyed, honor ruined, trauma carved into their bones. Most were hidden away in remote wings of family estates like shameful secrets. Nightmares, panic, silence, their new lifelong prison. Rome looked away. It was easier to blame the victims than admit the empire itself was rotten. Because Caligula wasn't the disease. He was the symptom. Absolute power with zero checks turned a traumatized boy into a monster, and let him build a machine of abuse that ran on silence. The erased names, the buried screams, the girls Rome sacrificed to protect its image. Their story is a warning screaming across 2,000 years. Great empires can build aqueducts and arenas that last forever. But if they fail to protect the vulnerable from predators wearing crowns, their true legacy is shame. Evil doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers behind palace doors, and thrives when good people choose silence. If the story shook you, angered you, or made you think twice about unchecked power, good. That means the voices Rome tried to bury just reached you. Now it's your turn. Drop a like if you're glad these shadows are finally seeing light. Subscribe for more grim history that needs to be remembered. And tell me below, where are you watching from tonight? The past isn't dead. Sometimes it's just waiting for us to listen.